Are you balanced?
Sometimes.
Good to hear that. Are you balanced?
But more than
We try.
about that, he says, don't think about worldly problems, I agree, but what if the worldly problems are exactly the problem? You know what I mean? The balance is out because of that worldly thing, your partner, your job, relationships.
It's very hard not to.
So then, how you disconnect to stay balanced if that's the source of imbalance?
Okay, exactly. This is our challenge, the worldly problems. It is our challenge, your partner, your homes, everything. So you just said the mantra, the greatest bliss, the highest joy, embodiment of wisdom absolute, non-dual, boundless like the sky. He is the goal of thou art that. One eternal, pure and still. Witness of the human race, beyond mind's grasp and gunas free. To that Guru may my worship be. So when you are totally focused and totally understand who you are, who you are is beyond mind's grasp and free from gunas. We talked about the gunas. The gunas are what makes us fluctuate in the world, like the atoms. You know, we fluctuate all the time. So we let the mind fluctuate, but know that the mind is not you. The mind is connected to your worldly connections, right? You need this mind to live in this world. So your mind and your body is your costume. It's your costume in this world. So when you focus constantly on that higher self, that's how you can do it. Otherwise you can't do it. Otherwise you keep getting dragged into your worldly problems. You have to deal with them. So if you get so emotionally involved and so attached, my husband, my children, my house, my problems, my problems, it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. But if you start to think, the problems have come to me. I belong to that greatest bliss, the highest joy. I belong there. That's where I belong. The problems have come to me. For example, Nalanie, in my earthly life. Of course, the temptation is to think it's mine. It's my problem. It's not my problem. The problem has come to me. Does not belong to me. I have an earthly life. I have to deal with it. When I get so attached and emotional and think the problem is mine, then I cannot work out a good solution, a balanced solution. But if I think the problem has come to me as a test or as for me to recognize how problems make me miserable, how problems drag me down, they come to help me recognize that. So in order to separate from the problem, don't become the problem. It's kind of like, when I have people, for example, come to me really depressed, right? Oh, Nalanie, I'm depressed. I think I'm going to end up in KG5. KG5 is the mental home in Gibraltar. Just for your information. Many times, you don't know how many people who have told me that. I got panic attacks. I'm so scared. I'm just going to go to the other side one day. And I go, you won't. How can you be so sure? I said, because a crazy person will not say, I am depressed. A crazy person has, have you seen somebody who's really lost it? And she goes, no. I said, I advise you go to the mental home and have a look. Yes, exactly. They will say, I'm not mad. That's the first thing they say. There's nothing wrong with me. Right? They're in the madness, so mad that they become the madness, so there's nothing wrong with them then. They truly believe that. I said, the fact that you are coming to me and saying, I am depressed. Who is the I watching the depression? Correct? What do you mean? Exactly that. If you can watch yourself being depressed, you can watch yourself being happy, yes. You can watch yourself being peaceful, yes. You can watch yourself being loving, yes. You can watch yourself being jealous, yes. You can watch all that. Correct. So if you can watch it, What can you do? You can change it. What? That easy? I said, it is that easy, but it's your own lack of faith that it's so easy that will stop you from doing it.
Yeah.
So we have to study so many hours, read so many spiritual books to come to this easy conclusion. Because really the truth is very, very simple. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, immortal self I am. Master Shivananda tells us, Lord Jesus tells us, be in this world, but no, you are not of this world. You are not. We're riding on it. Swami, what's his name? Vaswani. Yeah, he says, we're like travelers on the train. One day you have to stop and get off. So you're just traveling on this train called life. And we are just travelers. You know, we watch movies on Doctor Who and time traveling. So we're traveling on this earth. We're time traveling on this earth. And so don't get so attached to every stop. Otherwise you'll never get there. If you go on a train to go somewhere and every time you get, this is a really nice stop, let's stop here. And stick around and then next stop, next stop, next stop. It takes a long time to get you where you want to go. It's just another stop. So worldly problems, it's the only way. And if you read the Gita and the Bhagavad Gita, that's why I love it so much. People are saying, oh, why does Lord Krishna tell Arjuna to fight in the battle? And it's not about fighting in the battle. It's not about war. It's about the inner battle we each have to go through. And in order to go through the inner battle, first we are always presented with an outer battle in our lives. The tests are outside all our battles. Where will your battles come these days? None of you go to war, so where is your battle come these days? The person next to you is going to give you the most trouble. The one closest to you is going to cause you a lot of pain. But I always say, thank God for that, because better the person who's close to you than an enemy. That's if the person who is close to you loves you. And if that person doesn't love you, you're in trouble. And they will battle with you. And they will challenge you. And in that learning of that challenging, the battling, what happens? After a while you become so tired of battle, you don't want to fight with the person you love anymore. Please change, please do this for me. Why can't you make me happy? It's so simple to make me happy. Why not? Why can't you do this? And why can't... You're so tired of hearing that broken record that you say, am I going to spend the rest of my life doing this? I don't even like myself anymore. And after all you become detached. You just become, you know what? Better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. And you know, many times in relationships, this happens, not for any other reason. It's for us to really learn about us. How we say we accept all unconditionally, do we? It's hard. Oh, I love everybody when you're in a good mood. I feel so close to God. I had this vision of Gurudev last night, and I'm so close, and my heart's great. Keep that thought. Can you keep it all the time and remember this moment? 2 weeks later, they forgot. What's the problem? You remember the bliss you're in? Yeah, but that was then, it's not now. You don't understand what I'm going through now. I said, but no problem. But if you could feel it then, why can't you remember now how convinced you were that you were divine, how convinced you were that you were blessed. Can't you just keep that up? Which world do you come from? Is it the same one you did? And I live in the same one as you do as well, by the way. I live on planet Earth. But for a little while. I know it's a little while. I know nothing's mine. I really know nothing is mine. And then people say, oh, easy to say when you have all this. I said, well, I learned that when I didn't have all this. So I guess this is all a gift. So, yeah, in the worldly place, You will always get problems. This is part of the world. And this is the practice to disconnect. And you know, there's two ways you can disconnect. Jnana Yoga will say one will retreat, and this is what this is what Arjuna said to Lord Krishna. I don't want to do battle. I can't be bothered. You know, why should I fight against the ones I love? I don't want to do this. Can't I just, Dad, didn't you tell me that in order to learn about God, I should go on retreat? Why can't I go on a mountain? And you know, why can't I go there and let them do what they want? I don't want anything from them. Let them keep my land. Let them keep the money. Let them do this. Let me go and meditate. Sounds brilliant, doesn't it? And Lord Krishna goes, yeah, but what can you do? This has come to you. This war has come to you. You are a warrior. You are also respected by all the nation. This is your position. This is your duty in life, to look after them. So if you run away to the mountains and let the whole nation get corrupted because you're a coward, that's just an excuse. You're a coward, that's the truth. And I'll read, shall I read what he says to him? It's really quite nice what he tells him. And, you know, because he goes, I don't want to fight, I don't want to do this, you know. I felt I should bring the Gita today. Good I did. Yeah. Here he goes. He goes, Lord, the Lord is like the God in him, or the Krishna, or the Guru within all of us, beyond all this. From where arises this shameful and cowardly dejection, Arjuna, which at this dangerous moment bars your way to heaven? Yield not to weakness, it does not suit you. Shake off this petty faint-heartedness. Stand up, scorcher of foes, wake up. And Arjuna answers, Oh Krishna, how can I ever fight with the venerable Bhisma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? Because on the opposite side of the camp, on the bad side, is his great-grandfather whom he loves, and Drona, his teacher who taught him archery. But they're on the other side. And why are these good people on the wrong side? Because these good people live with the other princes. And they've been fed by them. And they've been looked after by them all their lives. So whether they like it or not, their duty is to stick with that side. So look, it's not easy. Life is not easy. Huh? And he goes, and Arjuna tells Krishna, it would be better for me to live as a beggar than to kill these great souls who have been my teachers. And even if I were to kill them, my enjoyment of wealth and desires in this world would be stained with their blood. And he goes, and then he admits, I am weighed down with weak-mindedness. I am confused and cannot understand my duty. Cannot understand. I beg of you to say for sure what is right for me to do. I am your disciple. Please teach me, for I've taken refuge in you. And then Lord Krishna tells him, haven't you heard that, you know? You make all the excuses, I can't do this and I can't do this because this happened, because I can't do this because this is so difficult and I can't do that, oh that doesn't suit me, and all that I can't, and then you get so tired of your I can'ts. What happens to you after that? You look and you get the teacher that stares at you in the face, really? And then he goes, okay, let's face the truth, I'm weak. Help me, but tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. Please tell me what to do. I'm your disciple. And Lord Krishna answers. No, then after he says, tell me what to do, look, this is so typical of human beings. So can I just finish it? Because this is really, you know, when we go through worldly problems, this is how our mind works. And he goes, I do not see any remedy for this deep grief that parches my senses. Even if I were to achieve prosperous and unrivaled royalty here on earth, or even the heavens. And after speaking that way to Krishna, the Lord of senses, Arjuna, who is the terror of his enemies, says, I won't fight, and became silent. So he's asking Krishna, help me, please, I don't know what to do, I'm confused. Then he goes back to his weak-mindedness. So, you know what, I really don't see the logic of this. You know, really, this is the way I see it. And I'm not going to fight, I'm not going to do it. And everybody's scared of Arjuna. Arjuna is one person that is such a good human being, always protected the good, always looked after everyone, and now he wants to run away from the battle that he's been given. Easy to run away, but can you run away from you? You can run away, you can go when you have a problem, but the problem will always stay with you. You have to find a solution. Sometimes you have to fight. And sometimes you walk away. And this is why we study the Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali, because by the practice of
Yoga.
the 8 limbs of yoga, the impurities dwindle away, and then dawns the light of wisdom, leading to discriminative discernment. You just develop the discriminative discernment. Should I fight? Shouldn't I fight? Should I just stay quiet, accept it? Lord Krishna said, you can't be a doormat. You can't be a doormat. You have to do something about it. Shame on you. What kind of cowardly thing are you going to do? How to fight it is the whole of the Gita. It's like the sutras, same thing. He doesn't say outright how to fight. He tells his disciple what to be aware of. And the first thing he tells him is this. He smiles. Lord Krishna smiles at him and says, you are grieving for those who should not be grieved for, while uttering would-be words of wisdom. The wise never grieve for the living or the dead. There was never a time I did not exist, nor you, nor any of these ruling princes, and neither there will be a time when we cease to be. You're never going to die, in other words. You always existed, you're always going to exist. Know that for a fact. You know, you have the Christian prayer, glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and will forever be, world without end. And this is basically what he's saying. First of all, understand who you are. You will know, why are you grieving for these people? They want the war, because his enemies wanted the war. They're not adhering to their promise. Their promise was to return the land after 14 years of Arjuna and his brothers suffering. They suffered the 14 years, they came back, and they were promised the land back, and they wouldn't give him the land. So he said, they don't deserve for you to grieve for them. And sometimes I've seen this, You know, people commit murder, right? And you see it every day. You have the law today. Somebody was telling me, as a burglar comes to the house, the man tries to hit his leg or hit him in the head so that it doesn't rob his house and hurt his family. And the man is put into jail for hitting the burglar. I mean, what kind of world do we live in? If a man cannot protect his family, which is his duty, is it not? So you see, our thinking has become very weak-minded. If your family didn't protect you, how would you feel? Horrible. You feel betrayed. So this is what he's saying. You know, you're grieving for these people who don't deserve to be grieved for. They did something wrong. We're not saying that. You say they're ruling princes. They will always be. They're not going to die. You think they're going to die. You think you're going to kill them. What are you doing? You're dealing with the problem. You're not killing them. Do you see the separation? Already Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, make the separation. They are never going to die, just like you are never going to die. But here on earth you have this problem. Start to see it very clearly. They're never going to die. Even if you kill them, they're not going to die. But you have the problem, and on this earth they've created this problem, not you. So you're not going to run away, are you? And let everybody suffer. So, and then he starts to tell him, no, it's okay.
There are some questions. Have you seen them, yes?
Yeah, I see now. I'm just going to finish this because this is really, really very important that you understand how to separate yourself. It's not an easy thing to do. We sit in this room and say, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. And you know, it's such a valid question. For years I struggled, how do I get there? When I think I'm this body and I think that I'm this mind and I think I'm my problems. And then I practiced and practiced and practiced until one day I realized, easy come, easy go. I'm here today, gone tomorrow. I think my husband's death was a realization, strong realization. Nothing was ours, you know. So treasure everything. It was a strong realization, you know, because you can say it. People you love passed. My guru went. I thought that would, you know, really. I was quite. He's everywhere. I knew he was everywhere. My father passed away. You know, the security in my life, and I thought, oh, he was old and he lived a beautiful life. He'll be in the heavens. You know, my husband died at a very young age, and I felt his life wasn't fulfilled. But it must have been, you know, but it was hard to let go. And I learned the meaning of letting go. And it's not easy. It was a great lesson, though. It was a good lesson. It's a very good lesson. We all have to learn to let go. So I can come and tell you nothing is ours, really. And you know, for many of you who've lost someone, you know nothing is yours permanently, including you. And this is what Lord Krishna is trying to ingrain in Arjuna's mind. Even you are not going to last forever. You have a problem, deal with it now. Don't think about the future, because he's going, what will happen in the future? Because he goes on and says, what will happen to this, and what will happen to this after the war? And he goes, no, you can't think like that. You have to think now. And I'm just going to read to you the first thing he tells him. That which is embodied, experience the body's childhood, youth, and old age, and also in time acquires another body. This does not disturb one whose mind is calm. If your mind is very calm, you realize one day you had a baby's body. Didn't you all have a baby's body? And like that little baby blessing, everybody said, oh, how cute.
Sweet.
How sweet. What a lovely little baby you were. The world loved you. And then you became a child. And then you became a brat. And some people liked you. And some people didn't like you. And then you became a teenager and you had a totally different body. And boy, did you get in arguments with your parents, right? So how many different lifetimes have you lived in one? And then you become middle, and you get a family, and then it's a different personality that comes out, a different body, and then you get old age. Now, if you can really, the one who is wise, when you can see this, even though you're young, and you can see, oh, this is the truth. Oh, this is the truth. Then it does not bother you many things. You can stay calm. It's not that you won't be sad. It's not that you won't feel compassion. In fact, you will love more and have more compassion than you could ever have, because you realize everybody is a reflection of you. And you realize that all the problems that come to you are the generosity of their spirits to take the bad roles so you can learn. And you start to see everything as a reflection. And that happens on its own when you practice the 8 limbs of yoga. You practice and it starts to happen. And if you just look around you, Look at the seasons, right? I always say to everything, the Psalms, there is a season, a time to be born, a time to die, right? You know that song? A time to love, a time to hate. Everything has got seasons. So he said, learn that, and then you will stay calm. So when you're going through a really difficult time with your family, or your home, or the love of your life, or a broken heart, or a death, or losing all your money, try and stay calm. It's a time for everything. There's a season. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. I will pass. So this too shall pass. And then there's a calm that comes. A calm that will help you deal with the problem. You become a little detached. The problem is there. It does not belong to me. It belongs to my physical me. It doesn't belong to me, the real me. So while I'm physically in the body, I'm going to be challenged. This is my university. So, university is not easy. You have to study long hours. You have to work hard. Any of you been to university here in this room? Yeah, so you know what it's like. Staying up all night, black coffee, study. I don't know if you did it, but I really studied hard. Research in libraries, no breaks, for months on end. So, but you do it because you want to learn. You do it because you love the learning. You may complain, but you do it because you want to. And that's when you become successful. And that's why so many people who study for the sake of their parents, or they study because they feel they have to, they're never happy. They may get the degree, but after the degree, I've seen so many people go into law because their parents want them to go into law. I don't know why. and then they go into law. They get so disillusioned after a few months. I know many people have gone into law and said they can't do it anymore. They've gone to something else totally different. So nothing is permanent. So here he says, as the senses contact the objects of the senses, feelings of heat and cold, pain and pleasure occur, Arjuna. These sensations come and go. They're impermanent. Patiently endure them. That's your secret word right there. As we get in touch with the world, as we get in touch with the sense objects, as we go through all these emotions of wanting, desiring, pain, this is how we're going to feel. Patiently understand that and deal with them patiently. And that's how you deal with worldly solutions.
What if the worldly is worrying someone that you love, your child or someone, and you cannot explain it? You suffer because you cannot give.
Patiently endure that suffering. You cannot. Sometimes you cannot. You want to give somebody everything you can. You cannot. We cannot save everybody or everything. Cannot. It's not up to you. We're not in control of this world. We'd love to be. There's certain things we can control and others we certainly can't. Things come to us that we cannot change sometimes. You do your best. And accept the suffering that you feel when you watch somebody you love suffer, because it's horrible. And it's painful, but you just have to patiently endure that pain.
You have to detach and get over the worldly. Then it's like you ignore in some way.
You know, some people can only do it that way. Some people, when they have to totally detach and maybe move away. For me, that doesn't work. I'm not that kind of person. I have to embrace it rather than run away. It works. That's why I love the Gita. Because I feel if I ran away, the problem would come again and again and again and again.
Not running away, but waiting. You said it's about patience.
Patience.
You cannot do anything about it. I mean, and you see someone you love who's suffering and you cannot help because there's nothing you can explain, they cannot understand or they don't want to understand.
All you can do is love them.
And understand that the suffering that they're going through is their learning process, is their process.
They don't see it.
Doesn't matter.
Something
Doesn't
personal,
matter.
really worry for them.
But it
No,
doesn't matter whether they see it or not.
Just be there.
You can just only be there.
Yeah.
Maybe support.
just be there.
Just be there.
That's all. Don't even say. The more you try to convince them, the worse they will be. Just watch. Patiently watch.
And love.
Yeah, but that pain is what disturbs you in some way, because you can be completely detached, I can be detached from my problems. But that love is...
Love hurts.
Yeah.
Haven't you heard
Just
that
be
song?
there.
Love hurts. It's not a bad thing to have a little pain. They're the same. One day pain, one day pleasure. Hurts. No big deal. No big deal. Anybody who knows love that doesn't hurt? Yes. Okay, 2 questions. You start. I saw your hand, then I'll go to Nuria.
I just wanted to ask if it's, for example, your child and you're suffering, can it also be a reflection of you?
100%.
Yeah.
I think that
100%. Many mothers and fathers tell me, my child is suffering, and I always ask them, what's going on in your home? What's going on with you? What's going on with you? No, it's my child. I said, look at you. We did the baby blessing today. What did I say? Make sure the parents are happy and the child will be happy. You think they don't sense it? They sense everything. Everything. So yes, absolutely. Very good observant. Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention that the detachment is more from the expectation, not from the person, not from the situation.
Correct. 100%.
Because when you're saying detachment, it sounds like you moving away, but it's detaching yourself from the results, from controlling, from expectation.
Let go.
Well, my expectation is that they are happy and not so negative. They are like bringing
That's
some
it,
sort of
that is-
wisdom, you know,
Pardon?
some bad space,
Pardon?
some bad space and always negative, you know.
Some-
Seeing things really negative all the time, and that makes you
Angry.
suffer if you are with that person.
If you let it.
Word.
If you let
Oh,
it,
Yeah, but they let it, you know what I mean? And you
They
can't
let
change
it.
it.
you
And
can't change
it's
it.
completely fake, everything, and you see it, it's fake.
So then you
They are
keep
doing
smiling.
that.
Don't let them suffer. You smile. You
But I'm
laugh.
gonna, alright.
You said, didn't you say you can see it? That it's all fake? Can you
Yeah.
really see it?
Yeah.
Then you have to let them suffer. It's all fake. One day they're going to wake up and say, Pilar, you're right. It's all fake.
And like
If
you
they-
said, the
I
kids
don't know.
notice when the parents are still emotionally attached to their behavior.
Of course they
So it's not
manipulate.
behavior, it's the
If the
perception of
parents
the world.
are coming from, instead of the negative space, the space
Positive.
of truth, of life, then the child perceives that, and eventually maybe they get tired of acting their drama, because they see their parents as solid and with the faith and the truth and the...
Of course. When you're around a
So-
solid person, how do you feel?
Positive.
Yes, exactly. Simply.
Yeah.
Truthful. When you're around somebody wavering, you're not comfortable. So get comfortable in yourself. They will follow you, not you follow them and try and change them. Yes, it's fake. Yes, they're miserable. Yes, they're suffering. But they chose it.
Yeah.
You don't.
So we teach them more, like they say, actions speak louder than words.
That's
yeah?
right.
So
And they're
if the children
reflecting
see
too.
the strength in the parents.
Yeah.
But
Which
knowing-
is some-
They're a
but
reflection
knowing
of
that might not
you.
work.
Yes, actually, yes.
But
But at least you're in peace, which
No,
is
yeah,
what, yeah.
And it takes time. It takes time. It doesn't
Life.
happen overnight.
Takes
But-
life.
Yeah, example is the best.
Yeah.
Is the best. Be an example. I'll give you, I think I've said it 1,000 times. When I came into this path, my husband was so angry with me. And I remember talking to my Gurudev, and I said, I love God so much, and, it doesn't matter what you call it, but I'm so, in faith. And my husband so beyond that. He's still questioning, and I'm worried about this rift. And he goes, no, Nalanie, be patient. Be the example. And one day he'll hear you. It took him 20 years. But he did.
Got a long time to do it.
But Julia, during those 20 years, there's a lot of exploration I made with myself as well. I saw my ego with my spirit. There was a lot I learned. Just because we have spiritual knowledge, we think we are better. I learned a great lesson. He may not have loved God the way I did, but he eventually grew to love God more in his own honest way. He may not have meditated in the way I did, but the greatest thing he told me one day, we were driving, and he said, you meditate in the morning and you do it this way. And my way of meditation is driving, just watching that road and focusing. And I thought, what's the difference? And one day he was speaking to me about markets, fluctuations in markets going up and down. He loved to look at trading, and I love to learn. So, that was my good thing about me. I love learning about anything. So one day we were going for a walk on the beach, and he says, look at the ants. And have you ever looked at the ants on the floor? And they make one line, right? And he said, yeah, they're all going together. He said, no. Look closely. So I looked. And within the line, all the ants were going round and round. They were making little funny shapes everywhere. It looks like one straight line. But when you look down, next time you look, they're not making one straight. Some ants are going this way, some are going that way, some are going that way, but it looks like one straight line. I've never seen that. And he said, you see, when together, they make one straight line. But if you look at it, it all looks very confused. So when you have a problem, he said to me, and this is how you work with the market, and I think this is what you tell me about yoga. His words to me. You have a problem? Don't look too close. Look at that straight line. Don't look too close, you'll get dizzy. And I thought, oh my God. And I've used this example ever since. So you see, osmosis, he was learning. When I stopped saying, listen to me, and my way is better than your way,
and look how he died.
beautifully.
Oh,
Wasn't he? You saw it. It was so beautifully, so peacefully. Let go so easily, and so peacefully, and asking me permission. Can he go? Because he was worried about me. Do you mind if I leave now? I cannot do it in this body anymore. He says, yes, I don't want you to suffer, but please give me notice. He said, how many days you want? I said, at least 3. He gave me exactly 3. He told me on an early Sunday morning, I'll be going soon. He left Tuesday evening, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the 3rd day he passed. So, do you know, so when you look at life, something went through. And I remember 20 years prior, don't talk to me about death. You're always morbid talking about death. How do you work with special needs children? How do you work with all these people that are hippies and they swear? And, this was his thing, And in the end, when Talia was born, his own granddaughter special need, we're driving to Gibraltar in a car, and you know what? I never see my husband cry. He sobs, stops and sobs. And he goes, my granddaughter, will she ever live a good life? I love her. And I said, now you understand how I love these special needs children. Now you understand. They're not the body, they're the soul. And he understood right away. So all those years, something went through. Anyway, like my guru said, if they don't want to learn, who are you to be their teachers? Life will teach them. Life will teach them. When I let go of teaching him anymore, I started to realize that he was my teacher, not the other way around. I used to tell at satsangs when I was in Portugal and traveling all over the world, I said, do you think I'm the yogi? And my husband doesn't want to join me. I said, what a lot of nonsense. I'm having a ball here with all of you. Go out for dinner, sit, chat, talk about the Spirit, talk about God, my favorite subject. I'm his best friend, and he's alone having those horrible tin foods because he doesn't cook. I'm making those salami sandwiches with HQ sauce. So who's the greatest one who's sacrificing? You know, who is really sacrificing? You know, see it real, truly. Who is the one making more sacrifices? Because he knew I had to do my work. I just said, I can't. When God calls, I have to go. And he saw it in the end, because he saw a lot of sick people now home, and he saw a lot of unhappy people now home. And I said, they're coming. And he saw a lot of healing. And after a while, when you see that, you have to grow. You have to grow. So, and many times I got screamed at and scolded, you know, so late, you're still working, so many phone calls. Fine. Accept it. He was trying to protect me. He loved me so much, he was trying to protect me. So, you know, you will start to see the truth when you detach a little bit from yourself. And yes.
It's almost like becoming a witness. So you're looking at yourself
Yes.
rather than being inside it. So you step back and observe.
Exactly. And you know, this is why I say meditate every day, meditate every day, meditate every day. And some people say, I can't. Okay, maybe you can't reach self-realization so quickly, but one thing you will do is you will be able to observe your thoughts. You will be able to do that. Troubled as they may be, you will be able to observe them. If you're able to observe them, if you have the knowledge, you're able to change them. Then you're able to quieten them. Then you start to see, as you're able to quieten those thoughts, that you, who are you that's doing that to you? Who is the witness? You have to ask yourself a question. You thought you're the crazy one. You thought you're the one with problems. But you can't be that one if you can watch it. Can you? You have to be separate. So then you start to, oh my God, I'm really not Nalanie. It's really quite an interesting thing. And one of the times, I remember the first time I meditated and saw myself. Who's that woman sitting down there? Yeah, many have felt that, huh? Many people in meditation have felt that. Who's that person there? Is that really me? Is that really me? Yes.
Do you know, just before my mother died, she started talking about herself in third person. You know, she's feeling confused now. She doesn't know how to take the next step, and it's really quite...
Yeah, you told me,
Yeah, it was like she was really detaching from her body.
You do.
And mind.
And good. You see, she was letting go. And she wanted to go, so she was letting go. In fact, she knew her body had no more use in the world. She was crippled. So she let herself go by separating herself.
We see that also people who do rehabilitation, they also start to separate. And
Well, you know, you did.
Yeah.
Your body was paralyzed.
I had to separate myself as well for a while, because my body was the painful part, and inside I was the person who had to fight and have the strength. So there comes a moment that you have a separation, but it also unites again.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But that's how we should try and be all the time, huh?
Correct.
Observing.
But sometimes, you know, when you live in the world,
it's-
you can't be all the time like that because you will burn out. You know, because the spirit is a very light energy, and sometimes some of you may have experienced this when you meditate for a long time, or you're very deeply involved in the spirit, many days, or retreat, or you suddenly have this kundalini growth, your body gets really hot, there's a lot of energy. And I mean, if you lived in that state for a long period of time, your body may not take it, depending on your strength. So you come in and out. And also very difficult if you go in the world and you try to be like that all the time. it's not going to be, it's so easy to do in the sense of, yes, you know that you are separated, but you don't get yourself so separated that you can't come, You know, many people, I've also met in my office, many times in consultation, people who are so out there in the spirit that they can't live their life. They really can't. They can quote to me all the spiritual books, but they can't deal with life. They're so depressed on earth. And I go, and I have to like drag them down and tell them not to read any spiritual books, stop meditating for a month, please go and watch some movies and get an abroad, please, you know? Yeah, please listen to a little bit of rock music, because they are so there that they can't focus on earth. So they're living on earth, but they're not living on earth. Now, if they were living on earth and balanced, then that spiritual energy could be great use to them. They could serve many people. But no, they're still in selfish mode. That's why I love Sri Patanjali, that's why I love the Gita, and that's why I love the New Testament. Because it tells you, if you want to be free from all that pain in the spiritual life, you have to be totally unselfish. But really, when we talk about unselfishness, people think it's a sacrifice. Rubbish! When you're really unselfish, you become really selfish. Because when you do something good for someone, and when you're really calm, how do you feel? How do you feel? Good! When you help a friend in need, how do you feel? Good. You've done an unselfish act, but really you've benefited from it. So really the act becomes very selfish. So when you learn the trick, you realize sometimes the mind will say, oh, why do you want to do this for this person? Always doing this for this person. Well, they take advantage of me. See, that's the human mind. And then you'll go, wow, I feel so comfortable doing it. So even if they take advantage of me, that's their problem, not mine. I tell you the story of my father. My father used to, my brother once, I remember, was arguing with my dad. Dad, you give money away all the time. All these people come to your office saying their business is they're broke, they're this, they're that. And you just give money away wherever you go. And, they say they'll pay you back. 90% don't. And Dad, why do you do it? And, my father answered, David, I give because I think God is asking me. I think God has come to ask me. If they don't return the money, it's not my karma. It's theirs. But I have to give because God has come to me. And it's very interesting that my brother David is always giving. He's coming in July and probably will give a talk while he's here on a Saturday because he's only here for 4 days. He talks all over the world now. And he does a great job. This is the same brother, always arguing with Dad about giving.
He probably wanted to understand what he's doing. That's why he was asking, thinking that he's
arguing. This money should be for me, your son.
But after that,
yes, maybe something inside him.
Well, whatever it was, he's become like Dad in that way. Always giving. And the other day he was telling me when I was in Hong Kong, he did some investment for one of the family members, and he lost. And he said he couldn't bear to see them lose, so he gave his winnings and covered their losses. I said, that's not right. Somebody asked you to invest money. So I said, I'm not asking you. I said, no, he doesn't want to see his sister lose. But I don't want you to be taking from you, then I have to suffer your karma, I go. But this is, and there's this beautiful sense.
It sounds, because it sounds like your father always acted like Gurudev, out of consciousness.
Yes.
So it must be possible to act from that, from our essence all the time.
That's why you are sitting here, because you know that. Otherwise you wouldn't be coming here week after week after week, because you know that is possible. What has stopped you up to this point is obviously you think your background, your traumas, your life. So you have to break through a lot of dogma. You have to break down a lot of boxes before you get there, but you know you're going to get there.
But it is possible.
Of
it's
course
not
it's
that
possible.
we have to Like sometimes that you're saying, well, come down to earth and act more worldly. It's acting, it's doing the things that need to be done, but from a place of
strength,
and
yes,
to do what
yes.
we can. And
What I'm saying, maybe I misunderstood your question. What I mean is sometimes you can't be on that high energy plane all the time because you make people feel uncomfortable too. And Master always taught us, in Rome, do as the Romans. You just be yourself, that's all. And with that consciousness, so that when you mix with people who are not of that consciousness, and that can be quite harsh on your spirit, when somebody's really not in that consciousness level, then Sri Patanjali tells you what to do with the 4 locks and keys anyway, doesn't he? Friendliness to us, the happy. Compassion to us, the happy. Delight in the virtuous, and disregard the wicked. Right? So, in every situation, then you have to bring yourself back to that earthly level to deal with that situation, and Sri Patanjali gives us the earthly way of dealing with it. Even though
he did that in his presence.
naturally all the time. Naturally all the time. Yes. Yeah. But at the same time, he didn't look as if he was spaced out. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but just by standing there, all that was reflected from him.
Why? Because he lived the truth. And if you live the truth, all that will be reflected in you. Simply. Haven't you noticed people telling you nicer things when you're living in the truth and noticing? Haven't you noticed? Am I imagining? I've seen it in the teacher training course, in front of my eyes, even your colleagues telling you, my God, goodness, I see a lightness in you. Your face radiates. Oh, you look beautiful today. What's happened? You look so much more relaxed.
We were all radiating.
Pardon?
That we were all radiating.
You were all radiating, yeah. So, so already that is happening. It's happening. And it will happen. That's the way it's going to be. You wouldn't be sitting here if you didn't know that. That's precisely why you're here. We know, but life is really quite difficult sometimes. It gives us a good challenge. Otherwise, what are we going to live for? We have no time. If everything was that easy, you have nothing to learn. You have nothing to... Do you know, I get really happy that I can get up every day and learn something new. Isn't it nice to know? Today I learned a little bit from Steve about, what was it, tetrabytes and that... Terabytes. Yes. A little bit about the computer, and, So you learn. I learned today. I wish I could learn more. I learned about cleanup programs and things that I didn't even know that existed on the computer. So every day you learn something new.
It's also with the people that you already know. If you look at them every day, as if you've never met them before, you start learning a bit deeper of that
Correct.
person.
Correct. That's a really nice way to look at people. It's a new day with this person. There are things you will discover that you've never known before. I was married for 34 years, but like I said, my husband and I went out for dinner alone once a week. Please do it with your partner. It's really a good exercise. Really. And we would talk. And I remember even to the dinner before he got sick, I learned something about his childhood that I never heard. Something so deep within him that he'd never talked about. And he talked about. You learn something new every day. Yes, if you have those glasses. And not those glasses are so boring. I've been in this relationship so boring. Let me look for something else. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a very good point. It's very difficult to stay positive in a negative situation. How do we master feeling positive in the heart? I.e., the mind knows, but your heart and soul feel differently. I think we just approached this whole problem just now. I think I'm answered this question.
Always do that, don't we?
It's done. Yes,
True, unbelievable.
we did it. What about killing animals? What about killing animals? Big question. If I had my way, we'd kill nothing. I really would kill nothing. But we live in a world. Pardon?
Life has to go on.
Life has to go on. And I think today we really really do kill animals without thinking, selfishly, because of greed, etc. In the olden days, when they did kill an animal, and you read them in all the scriptures, they did it because they actually needed nourishment, or they didn't have enough food, and the whole hunt would be maybe once every few months, and they would, when they killed the animal, they would offer it to God as a sacrifice. They would pray on the animal, give thanks for the animal, and eat the animal with love. And that was very, very rarely. Today we kill animals indiscriminately, and there's so many vegetables we could eat, there's so much we can eat, there's so much, and there's no need to do that. And then you see all these shops, they kill so many animals, and then all the meat is left and thrown, and you think lives have been taken for human pleasure. You know, for me, animals are souls. So, you know, for me, I find it very difficult to want to kill any animal. Any animal. I find it, why would you want to do that? Yes.
It's my question, and it came from a totally different place. A couple of years ago, when I had a young kitten, she had 6 kittens herself. It happened before I got to the vet, and I had no way out. So 6 souls, every morning one I sent off, and sunset and sunrise. And I have to live with it, and it's not the first time.
When you had to kill your animals? Is that what you're saying?
I had to kill brown puppies, kittens all my life, because the place I come from, going to vet to get the injections or females treated against kittens, it's a new concept. Like 20 years ago, it wasn't even there. You have to do something to take responsibility. So the choice is kittens on the street or getting rid of them.
Are you talking, you know, I always think you can find a home for one of these. Always try and find a home. I think, I think 20 years ago, people thought very differently. We were told different things. We're learning a lot in this generation about killing. My advice is never continue with it. What's been done is done. And I would adopt an animal to make up for all those I killed. It was done out of ignorance. It was not done out of that you wanted to kill an animal to hurt them. But obviously it's hurting you that you had to do that. I can feel that from your voice, that you had to do that. It's hurting you, but that's what you had, and that's all you knew, and that's all you were taught. So you came from a place of ignorance. Now you're coming from a place of knowledge. You would never do the same today.
My cat is sterilized.
Pardon?
My cat is sterilized.
Wisdom, so you don't want to do that again. So,
Mom,
yes.
today she can bring them to a refuge.
Yeah.
They probably didn't have refuges
Yes.
20 years ago, and it's donated.
That was 2 years ago, and I went to Sotogrande vet. I went to Samia's, the cat place next to it. Everybody, get away from here with the kittens.
Well, there's a vet in Estepona that will take any kitten or cat that you bring. There are lots of places now that will take any
absolutely.
animals, they don't refuse.
There's a lot of places that
Yeah.
there's a lot
Yes.
of people that will help. If
Yeah.
I know you just have to reach out and find them, but
I have
just
to
by
have a
reaching
list
out.
of 10 at least to get the right one, because
But you
I
must
had so
give.
many rejections. There was second litter and first litter I took to Estonia, and I got homes for the kittens. But what I'm saying is responsibility or just letting them go.
You always try to save lives. Always try to save lives. For me, kittens, animals have lives. You always try to save unless there's no other option. There's really no other option. And in the cases that you mentioned, you know, the more recent ones, find people who know about these places. You need to search for these people and avoid doing it again. That's it. That's all you can do. There are many today, many good people who are looking after the animals, because the plight of the animals has been going on for years. I'll tell you, when you remember when there was a mad cow disease that was going on, and they killed thousands and thousands. I will never forget. I will never forget. I really had this vision of all these. I had this horrible dream, and my dreams are very powerful. I get these dreams that tell me messages, and the dream was that all these cows were coming to me and saying, why are they doing this to us when they poison us? They poison us, and now they're killing us one by one after they poison us. And they were crying. I saw all these souls crying. I remember getting up like that, crying for all these animals and sobbing. You know, I remember my husband saying, my wife's gone mad again. You know? And I said, the animals, darling, the animals, they're crying. We are using them for our own greed. We are poisoning them. We are good. You got your cat sterile. You'll never do that again. And
Solution.
there's a solution for everything. And take them. People like Mary, Martina. Who else in this room works with animals? Yeah, you know, talk to them, find out, and see if you can adopt one to help the others that you've left.
Mine comes from the street anyway.
Pardon?
My cat was a dying kitten on the street, but I
So you saved one?
Yeah,
Good.
I saved one, but I killed 6.
Yeah. So now you make up for it by doing well. Sorry, thank you.
I think that's what I wanted to hear.
Now you fix it by doing good. Yes, you do it good. And now next time somebody has a sick cat, let them bring it to you. And you make that cat well. We can't take away what you've done. You know, for every action there's a reaction. It's a cosmic law. There's no judgment. I dropped the glasses, it might break. I'm lucky it did. I drop it all the time. There's a cosmic law, action-reaction. That's pretty scratched, you know. Sorry, glasses. You look at it, it's all scratched. But there's an action-reaction for
happens
everything.
with the King of Spain. Remember the whole thing last year? He went
The elephant.
hunting and then he broke his hip.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reaction.
And now he went the third operation on the hip.
You're going to Tanzania, and right now there is
Giving,
something really bad going on. I'm sorry, you go to that place, but there is the Maoris, are there or not? The
The Maasai.
Maasai. Well,
Yes,
right
I
now
heard about that.
that they are driven away from the land.
That's right.
Because
Yes, I read about
they
it.
want to use it for tourists for hunting to kill lions.
Yes, to kill animals.
There's not that many lions anyway. How can they?
No, but
You know, this is happening. Do you know this?
There's not that many lions left anyway.
But it was not a lion, it was an elephant.
No, but she's saying they're going to make it tourist attraction for them to hunt
Yeah.
lions.
Maybe the
And it's
elephant
like-
needs to put
They
the
might do, but there's not that many lions left
They
in the
probably
world
get
now anyway.
$40,000 for a lion.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, we will find this is the way of the world. This is the way of the world. Try and change it. The only thing we can do is change ourselves and how we react to those situations. We cannot change those people. But what we can do is educate, which is what we're going to Tanzania, hopefully with the schools, educate people. That's all we can do. Educate. And that's why I say give in education. Wherever you can, give in education. Because most of these crimes are done out of illness or greed. But we cannot really do much more. Okay? Yes, sorry.
And I wanted to say that I think that some animals like dolphins and elephants are so evolved animals
So evolved.
that they work for us on the planet, and if we
Absolutely.
connect with them, we work together with them, and we rise the vibration of the earth, and they do lots of good work.
Yes, speak to Kim. She's an expert with dolphins.
Well,
She goes
I
on.
went to Abu Dhabi, I saw them there, and I did the same.
Yeah.
Wild ones, I hope.
Yeah, there are wild ones. You got a big connection with Atlantis when you get the connection with the dolphins.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's amazing. Animals are amazing. You know, own one. You see, they talk to you. I mean, I've never really owned one for 30 years now, but there is a connection. When we were young, you know, we had animals at home. I had a big home when I was a child. There's a connection. There are souls. So I really believe what's different, that we can talk, that we have an intellect. We should look after the weaker. The stronger should look after the weaker. We should protect them. We should give them homes, which so many good people are doing today. They're making such a difference. You know, Mary told me when she came here 20 years ago, they were just running them all over the roads. And she kept on picking up all these animals. Did you know that she did that? Picked them up, put them in her car, found a shelter for them. One of the first people to do that in this area. I'm right, Mary?
That was 30 years.
30 years ago. She was horrified that people could treat animals like that. One of the pioneers here of building animal shelters 30 years ago. In 30 years ago, the Spanish animals, today the Spanish, they love animals.
They're fantastic.
They've changed so much.
Yeah.
It's people like you who come and build up the awareness. And that's what we should do, build up the awareness. And then people soon learn. People are good. I really believe that. They learn quickly. They learn quickly. People are good. Believe in human nature. Believe, even when they do horrible things, even though you've done the horrible thing. Are you bad? No, you're wonderful. So you'll make up for it by doing more good. You didn't have a choice, or you thought you didn't have a choice. Now you know you do. Stop reminding yourself now, let that go and save many lives. And that's what you do. That's how you make it ahead. The past is the past. It's finished. And start with the new.
We've changed, why can't they?
Yes, of course. Yes.
I just wanted to ask about the ants in your bedroom, for instance. If in the nature, sure, you don't touch them because you come to the nature,
Yes.
but when they come to your bedroom and the baby's there and you see a lot of them, what should you do?
Please let Kim
Kim, tell me your story. And then
I try to talk to them many more and more, I think, because they very good energy now.
What's her name?
All the animals from the organization come to us.
Her name, the American
And
name.
it's more, just more.
No, we had the same problem in
Ants.
Mallorca, and
Yeah.
our neighbor, Mallorquin, he thought we were absolutely mad because there's animal speakers, you know, people that can talk to animals. Samantha Cure is an amazing woman, and she could talk to any animal, even fish or ants. And she says they speak in images. You can't talk to an animal like this, you know, because they haven't got that language. So, but she said with ants, you see them, you give them 3 days, and you see them, you really see them. I'm going to spray you to death if you don't leave my house in 3 days. But you have to make them a promise. You feed them in the garden. So we did that because our whole kitchen was full. And we didn't want to spray, you know, I tried with cinnamon, with eggshells, all these, you know, natural stuff. And I tried that, and my neighbor said, yeah, right, you know, my old man, he's like, here's the radar spray. And in 3 days, they were gone. And I just sprinkled sugar in the garden and no ants in the kitchen. It worked.
I talked to them, but I didn't promise to feed them.
No, but you do it in your head. I really see them suffering when you spray them, but give them 3 days.
Well, this is the story of St. Francis. You know the story of St. Francis? When he passed the village, and the village was being terrified because there was this wolf. Every day the wolf would come into the village and take their chickens, and the children were worried. They were worried the children were going to be hurt. So St. Francis said, what's going on in this village? The children don't play outside. So they told him, and they told him they were planning how they could kill the wolf. And St. Francis said, leave it to me. So they thought, no, this wolf is terrifying. It's going to kill St. Francis. So St. Francis went to the woods and saw the wolf, and of course, and then he spoke to him. He said, please leave the villagers alone. You know, please leave them alone. They, you know, you terrify them. And in the wolf's language, he heard that if they feed me every day, I won't go and terrify them and steal their chickens and kill, you know, their livestock. So St. Francis went back to the village and told them, every day outside the village, I want you to leave something for the wolf to eat, and the wolf will not disturb you anymore. And he didn't. And he didn't. You try it. We asked our master that, the same question. Somebody asked about mosquitoes. You tell them to go, go, go. And if they really don't go, then you have to let them go. You have to force them to go. Because your responsibility is like a war, like Arjuna's. You don't want the war. You give them, you pray, you ask them that they don't, then you have to give them a little spray because your responsibility is your baby.
Give them a chance, though.
But give them
Yes, I did. I even chatted.
Yes.
Because it
The
works.
ants, you can give them sugar, but what do you give a mosquito? Your
Well,
partner,
you can
put
still
outside.
You know, so and Gurudev, we asked him this in India, I remember, and his answer to us was, well, you know, when it comes push to shove, when it comes to the final case, then you have to ask yourself, who do you have to protect? And you have to protect your family. You know, you're not going to let the mosquito kill your baby or yourself, and you can't work, but you ask them to leave. If they don't, then you find, okay, gave you a warning, you didn't listen, now that's it. So that's what you do. So Kim's story works. I have a mole in my garden since I moved here. And every time I do some Om Trambagams, it goes away. It comes back when I travel. It's gone again, Mary. Do you know, it was here last week and I went to the mound, because Mary does a lot of work in my garden. I went to that mound that they have in the big mound and I said, please. And I did like 5 Om Trambagams. I really don't want to put things inside the garden that gives you loud noises, and I don't want to hurt you. He left again. And it keeps coming up to remind me all the time. So you know, you try, you do your best.
Maybe your neighbor is
And
doing
have
the
fun
same
with it,
thing.
Or maybe he likes some Trambagams.
He does. He plays.
Listen to your voice.
They play. Animals play with us. And besides, if you look at American Indian language, right, as Ole would tell you and Kamala would tell you, they tell you something about your life, you know. And apparently ants, I believe, is to do with patience. I don't know what moles are to do with, but you can find out. But, you know, I know when you see hawks, you know, they say that it's very powerful. That you're going to, hawks, birds that look like eagles. Yeah, it's a sign that you're getting stronger and that you're ascending to great heights, you know, spiritual heights. Eagles are often represented in American Indian tribes. And Tim, if you can take that eagle on that beautiful American Indian stick that I was given, you'll see an eagle on it.
Vision.
Yeah, this is an American Indian totem that they gave me for people who you're supposed to hold it. So anytime you're in this room, please borrow it. I have it here for everybody. I should have told you. When you hold it, you have to speak the truth. Maybe when we come back, we'll make you all hold it and say something. And it makes you speak the truth. It's made out of crystals and is made by a wonderful lady called Diana, who is a disciple of our Guru. She lives in the ashram in America, and she has an amazing medicine wheel and talks to all the animals. And we went to her house. It's like going into a forest and living in this really magical house full of crystals, and really quite interesting. The world is full of interesting people. And everything is medicine. Animals are medicine to them. So if you're ever curious about an animal that keeps coming to your life, you can Google today, American native symbolism on animals.
And butterflies are for
Transformation. Yeah. And didn't I get a butterfly just before my husband's death?
After you told the story of butterflies, I kept being before the
transformation.
Every time butterflies, every day many butterflies. In cold Russia, in St. Petersburg, symbol of butterfly, the wing of butterfly in the construction site, then on the shop, then in the book, something every time, every day.
Transformation. You are transforming too. So when you find yourself transforming, watch things. Life talks to us. I always say when you live this beautiful life and you're in tune with it and you're not involved in these worldly problems, you learn a lot from everything around you. You learn a lot from people around you. You learn a lot from things around you. You drive in your car and there are messages everywhere. Life is magical. Really, it's magical, and I really believed we were born to learn about this magic, you know, and be in this magic, and be medicine women or men in this world. And what is the best medicine you can give anyone is love. What is the best medicine you can give anyone is peace. What's the best medicine you can give anyone is calmness. What medicine do people need in this day and this age, in this world that we're going through, where you turn the TV on and you think nuclear crisis and that and that? What can you give them amongst all that fear? Peace. That's all you can offer. A moment of peace. A moment of reflection. A moment of quiet, a moment of calm. You want to make a difference? Make that difference. Make that difference. And then if you're called to do greater work, you will be called to do greater work. You don't need to look for it. You will be called to do it. And there's the cat passing. And what is the
Black
symbol?
cats.
Is it black cat?
Black cats.
Because that cat's not mine. It's definitely a symbol there. We're talking about animals. Yeah, and a black cat passes, and I don't know where it comes from. So there's a symbolic, you see? It will always be like that in our lives. If you look, you'll get lots of answers. Learn to look, learn to see. When you have a problem, try not to talk too much about it. Sit with it, go in a car, drive, stop somewhere, stare, or look at your problem in front of you, as if you're looking at a chapter in a book, and it's your chapter. And try to see how you'd like to see the outcome. And maybe you can't, you're blocked. So what you do is, if you can't see the outcome and you're blocked, don't ask for anything. Ask for peace. That's the solution. If you have peace, means you have everything. You ask for money. Give me this back. Give me that back. Oh my God. You may get all that back, but not your peace. So ask for peace. Don't be a beggar. Ask for peace. You are peace. You are that. The highest bliss. The greatest joy. That's who you are. You just occupied a human body. And that's all for today. Thank you, Ale, for reminding me of the time.